Hey guys, Marsengan here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. And so yesterday I did a video showing off the AGL Super Saiyans from the Metal Cooler movie. I finally rainbowed them by buying the extra copies from the shop because I didn't pull any copies during my summons. I don't know why I completely forgot or just completely blanked out of my mind the fact that they would return on the Worldwide Celebration banners again, which will be in like a month's time. So I really didn't have to buy the copies of them, especially because it's a unit that I probably won't really ever use. So yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy the summon stream when the Worldwide Celebration eventually comes around and I pull multiple copies of them and feel really stupid. But I mean, I have tons of red coins left anyway, so it doesn't really affect me very much. But we talked about in that video how the unit had kind of aged at this point, but that led me to want to do a re-showcase for this unit right here, which is of course the STR LR Cooler, who I think is still a very, very good unit, right? He's arguably still one of the best extreme units in the game, especially on Global, of course, because, you know, Global, we don't have... I'm not necessarily saying that he would be better than Cooler, of course, but we don't have Turles. There's not been a lot of extreme buffs. I mean, Super 17 came out and is obviously very wonky and tricky to use. When you get the actual Super 17 part out and he's fully built up, he's really good, but it's just getting to that point, right? So the only real competition I guess he has for like best extreme unit is the new Int Demon King Piccolo, Piccolo Jr., I should say. And you can run him on his team, although he only gets the 170 lead. So I am running him on the team. Nice little update to the team build here. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, obviously the new Turles will be on this team as well. So if we start getting difficult content where you actually fight super class enemies, Turles will be a nice buff to this team. I mean, the AGL Turles can still be okay against super class because he does provide that defense buff, but obviously his stats are starting to get a little bit outdated now. You can try him out in like the Gamma 1 and 2 red zone and you can kind of see that he's you know, starting to age a little bit, even if it is against super class. But the new Turles will be really good on his team, especially with his side banner units as well. His side banner units can provide direct support to, I think, so is it Space Traveling Warriors or Terrifying Conquerors, which of course Cooler is on both, so definitely can be very good. We've also had the Int LR Bojack EZA since Cooler came out, and I think he is a pretty decent addition as like a floating unit. Can create rainbow orbs, which is obviously good for the team in general. But yeah, here we have Piccolo Jr. on the team, because Piccolo Jr., unfortunately we didn't get anyone on rotation like that, but Piccolo Jr. is a really good link partner for Metal Cooler. Like, they work quite well together, and obviously Metal Cooler is a great unit to use on this Dokkan Fest LR Cooler team, so they go together fairly nicely. Can't get the 18 key super here, but I guess we'll just do this. Unfortunately, our starting rotations definitely were not the best. Both Coolers on the first turn, and then I guess Metal Cooler was in slot 7, so not really ideal, but the Piccolo Jr. can still put out some pretty solid performance on the under a 170 lead. I mean, you see here, we basically, from the double super, already have put out like 10 million attack stat worth of attacks. With no support on the rotation on a 170 lead. And we got the stun, which I always forget you can do against Cell. So Demon King Piccolo kind of becomes a bit of a cheat code for this early part of the run. So let's do, we need to get you floated off because I want you with Frieza. I'm going to leave, sorry, Piccolo. I'm going to leave you in the middle so we can see his defensive capabilities here, because we are going to take a few attacks. Now the big thing with LR Cooler obviously is the fact that he gets a lot of his defense, or pretty much most of his defense, from the 12 key supers that he's going to do, right? He greatly raises defense for one turn on his 12 key, and he does have the potential to do a bunch of built-in additional supers. The problem arises when you're in these more difficult stages and he doesn't do any additional supers, because then, you know, you're not getting those big defense gains, because greatly raises 50% extra defense, and he gets that every time he does an additional 12 key super attack. So obviously that works out to be quite a lot of damage overall and then quite a lot of defense as well, because even though he's only raising the defense, all of those 12 keys are doing a bunch of extra damage. I think the best build for Cooler, because he has so many additionals built in, he doesn't need a lot of additional, so you basically just want to go full crit, and then if you're getting off all of these additional super attacks and they're all critting as well, then obviously he's going to look really good. He also builds up the more you attack as well, so the more we keep getting off attacks here, the more powerful he's going to become, the more key he gets, and then the more you build up towards the power for the supernova as well. But there you go. I mean, literally spoke it into existence. The worst possible turn you could get for Cooler, which is 4 additional normal attacks. And so then we take 250k from Cell's super. If we did the God RNG turn and got all additional super attacks, he would take double-digit damage. So I know that's one of the reasons why some people weren't huge fans of him when he came out. When the Worldwide Celebration Part 1 units came out, the big discussion was basically between Cooler and Piccolo, like who is the best unit in the game. I mean, he links up decently well with Piccolo, right? Big Bad Bosses, Thirst for Conquest, Fierce Battle. So Piccolo can look pretty good in this setup as well. And then, yeah, Cooler, especially when you've got a slot like this where you just put him in the middle and we don't have to worry about him taking any hits at all. It's a shame all of those int orbs are blocked off. That'd be good for Bojack here. But, yeah, Demon King Piccolo, I keep calling him Demon King Piccolo, but Int Piccolo Jr. Can hold his own pretty well in slot 1. Obviously, you can get the potential for more attack power if you're using him in slot 2, but LR Cooler is not the best slot 1 unit. That's why I wanted to float off the physical metal Cooler, because you can put him in slot 1, he can get some hits in and get built up, and then Piccolo has the chance to pop off and do some extra damage in slot 2. I wonder if we are going to go through this entire run so far now without getting additional supers for Cooler, because like I said, I still think Cooler is very, very good. He's still arguably one of the best extreme units in the game, but he's not exactly having the best performance in this run so far. Also, we haven't really had any chance to build up the STR Cooler here as well, the Easy A one. So there is the possibility that he will take a lot of damage at the end of the turn here from Cell. I still have Senzu Beans on because I did a random Cell run max on the stream this morning. Well, we'll see what happens. Obviously, he's supering straight away here against Frieza. Frieza loses damage reduction as the event goes on, so now he's starting to take some damage. He is getting up to pretty crazy levels of attack here now, though. Because I think he's on transformation boost, isn't he? So he's being supported by the STR Cooler here. So considering how good he is defensively at the start, that starts to wear off, but then when you're putting out numbers like this, obviously he does pretty well here. And then Cooler in the middle, 16 million, because now he has all of his links active. So let's see, can we get some actual additional supers here and take out this Cell? There you go, there's one straight away, 10.7. So these are the situations where Cooler really shows his value. But when you get unlucky and you don't get additional supers, see, there you go, now we got another one. This is where he starts to go crazy. So even against this AGL Cell, he would now be tanking the supers for double digits. I think when I did my first run against Cell Max with Cell's team, Cooler's team, that I actually beat, it was one of the first teams, I think I did a video for it, it was one of the first teams that I no-itemed Cell Max with. Because STR Cooler, as long as you get, I think it's 2 of the additional supers from his the 212 keys, he can tank Cell Max for double digits as long as he has Big Bad Bosses active. So he definitely is very, very strong in that regard. Also, we hear he's only healing in slot 1, so I could do this. Now, obviously, if he decides to super, that would be bad. Although, of course, Cooler has the potential of just taking him out here. So let's do this. Grab the Int Orb for you, and then grab some physical orbs for Metal Cooler. And then, yeah, you're going to heal a bit here, but, I mean, as long as LR Cooler's getting his crits in, it's not really going to matter. Now, the rotation of him linked up with Piccolo Jr. is obviously not the most powerful. We have a couple of links, like Big Bad Bosses, which is, you know, one of the more important ones. But yeah, Cooler's still able to put out some pretty good numbers here. I mean, his animations are awesome. One thing I think we can't fault the Dokkan Fest LRs. I mentioned how good theirs were in the AGL Super Saiyans video yesterday, but can't fault these Worldwide Celebration LRs on how good their animations are, because STR Cooler still looking super, super good. So how much does he tank this for here? Because we did, what? Did we do 2 supers? 211k for type disadvantage super attack. So, I mean, 200k is still a decent chunk, but considering how much health we have on this team, that is pretty good for type disadvantage LR right there. So now I've got to be careful about Frieza. If I put Frieza in slot 1, I feel like he's absolutely just going to let me down here. But Cell has a very common habit of super attacking as the first attack of the turn. So I think I'm just going to drop the Supernova here. So let's see what kind of damage we get off of this bad boy. Another reason why you want to go full crit is you really want to crit on the Supernova, because this animation is beautiful as well. I've always loved Final Form Cooler and the Supernova, but yeah, if you get a crit, then you really do big damage. See, we did not crit, and we still got over 14.5 million, which is pretty good. So I think the best bet here then is just to put Cooler in slot 1, because then even if he does super, I think Cooler would still live, because we do have a decent amount of defense. And then we'll get a heal off of these int orbs here with Bojack. Cancel out that attack, which was probably the super, because I swear he always supers me as the first attack of the first turn. So action breaking him there gets rid of the super attack, I assume. Then we tank the normal like no problem, and then boom, take him out with the super attack. So that's what we like to see. Now Piccolo in slot 1, how are you going to be looking here? What's your defense up to? 288k. Piccolo gets a really big defense buff after he gets hit for the first time as well. So, I mean, I think he should be okay, but... And then STR Cooler's at 37k. So let's drop the Spirit Bomb again. I'll put the skip on. Actually, no, you know what? It's only twice in 2 turns. I love this animation, so I am just going to watch it again. Just that glow effect, like, it looks so good. Come on, get the crit on this one. You got the support from STR Cooler. 20 million. That's half of his health gone in that first attack. So now, as long as we don't get immediately supered, Piccolo Jr. absolutely can cook. So this should be pretty good. I'm going to keep you untransformed for the extra support. And then let's see what happens here. So action break, get hit, get the defense buff. And then 6.5 million. Pretty good without the extra attack from being in slot 2. And then, yeah, post-super. I think he should be able to tank Cell's super attack here. Especially now after a double super. I kind of want Cell to super attack Piccolo Jr. just so we can see how much it will be. Because I like using this stage to showcase teams. Because I think people underestimate just how strong this Cell actually is. Like, his super attack in this final phase does hit for over 1 million. Like... And then, yeah, 17 million from Cooler here. And then there's the additional 11 million. So, you know, STR Cooler absolutely still has the sauce. And he can go pretty hard in these events. So I will do a video using Cooler's team against the Sin event. Because Sin becomes the new hardest boss when he comes out in part 3. But, of course, his final phase, he is physical. So when you've got Cooler fully built up, Cooler can just go absolutely crazy. And then if Sin is doing any of these shenanigans like the first attack of the turn is an AoE, then obviously using the Supernova, action breaks the first attack of the turn, and then there's that one AoE gone. So Cooler definitely still very good. I would say he has aged way better than the AGL Super Saiyans, but you guys let me know what you think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.